agricultural science class. In our last class, we talked about demand, the factors of demand, and some of the elasticity of demand. In today's class, we're talking about supply. What is supply? Supply may be defined as the quantity of commodity which a producer is willing and able to offer for sale at a given price over a particular period of time. The quantity of commodity offered for sale in the market is known as effective supply. We also have the law of supply, same as the law of demand, law of supply. The law of supply states that the higher the price, the higher the quantity of produce that will be supplied, or the lower the price, the lower the quantity of the produce that will be offered for sale. The higher the price, the higher the quantity of the produce. For demand is the higher the price, the lower the demand. But this one is the higher the price, the higher the quantity of the produce that will be supplied, or the lower the price, the lower the quantity of the produce that will be offered for sale. The supply schedule. The supply schedule is a table which shows the relationship between the price and the quantity of the commodity supplied. It shows the quantity of the goods that can be supplied as the price of the goods changes. The supply curve. Supply curve in economics is a graphic representation of the relationship between the product price and the quantity of the product that a seller is willing and able to supply. Price elasticity of supply. It measures the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in price. It is necessary for a firm to know how quickly and effectively it can respond to changing price conditions, especially to price changes. The following equations can be used to calculate the price elasticity of supply. And number one is the change in the cost of production. Another one is an increase in the number of the producers will cause an increase in the supply. An increase in the number of producers will cause an increase in the supply. Another one is expansion in capacity of existing firms, e.g. the building of a new factory, you want to expand it. An increase in supply of the related goods, e.g. beef and leather. Another one is the climatic condition are very important for agricultural products, climatic conditions too. Another one is improvements in technology, e.g. computers, reducing firm costs and the likes. Another one is lower tax reduces the cost of the goods. Now we are talking about the equations. And that one is increase in government subsidies will also reduce the cost of the goods. Implications of demand and supply on agricultural production. When demand is lower than supply, the price of the produce will fall. When the demand is lower than the supply, the demand of that produce will fall and farmers will be discouraged from further production. When the demand is lower than the supply, if the demand is 20% and the supply is 50%, the price of the produce will fall and to discourage the farmers from further production. When the demand exceeds supply, price will tend to fall and farmers will be stimulated to produce more. Another one is higher supply of agricultural products may lead to reduction in the price and the demand. Another one is high cost of a product may lead to low demand and high demand for its substitutes. When a particular product is very expensive, the demand of it would reduce and the demand for a substitute good would also increases. Another one is high taste of agricultural products by consumers will lead to high demand for such products. If for a particular agricultural product there's a high demand for it, there's a high taste for it, it increases the demand for it. Just like, let's make use of rice. People eat rice a lot. So the high taste of rice, it increases the demand for rice. That's just it. Another one is increase in the income of the consumers may lead to increase in the demand of agricultural products and vice versa. You know, the increase in the income of a consumer would lead to increase in the demand of that particular agricultural product. Let's say it is rice. Let's say it is garri. Let's use garri as an example. The increase in the income of the consumers. Let's say the consumers always buy like 20 congos of garri, but because his income is high. But once his income falls, it would reduce the rate at which he buys or he demands for that particular agricultural product. So which means the increase in the income of the consumers leads to the increase in the demand for agricultural products and vice versa, which means the other side is the decrease in the income of the consumers leads to the decrease in the demand for the agricultural products. Another one is high cost of production may lead to low supply and high prices of the product. If there is high cost of production, it may lead to low supply and high price of the product. High cost and lack of farm inputs may lead to low supply and high cost of farm products and vice versa. High cost and lack of farm inputs. If there are high costs in some of the farm inputs, it will lead to low supply. The farmers will not be able to supply more, and the cost of that farm product will be very high. And that one is favorable weather and climate for production will lead to high supply and farm products and vice versa. If there are favorable weather conditions, the products, there will be a high supply of that farm product. It will be readily available, and vice versa, which means if the weather is not favorable, there will be low supply of the farm product. Increase in the number of farmers will lead to higher supply and reduction in the price of the food and vice versa. If there are more farmers that are cultivating, then that there will be higher supply, there will be more supply, and there will be a reduction in the price of that particular goods. Law of diminishing return, a concept in economics that if one factor of production, maybe the number of workers, for example, is increased while other factors of production, maybe machines or the workspace, are held constant, the output per unit of the variable factor will eventually diminish. The concept is the law of diminishing. The concept is if one factor of production is increased, while the others are held constant, the output per unit of that variable constant will eventually diminish. Although the marginal productivity of the workforce decreases as the output increases. Diminishing return do not leave negative return until the number of workers exceeds the available machines or workspace. Importance of law of diminishing return in agriculture. It helps the entrepreneurs to determine the best proportions to combine the various factors of production. It helps the entrepreneurs to determine the best proportion, like how to combine the various factors of production, how they'll be able to combine them well. It also enables him to know when to stop adding more inputs of the variable factors to a fixed factor. And fixed factors are like most fixed factors are our capitals, like something that are fixed, like the land, they are fixed, the tractors are fixed, the machineries in general are fixed. So it enables them to know when to stop adding more inputs. It also enables him to determine the wages he will pay to his workers. It helps the farmers to determine the wages he will pay his workers. When you know what is coming in and what is going out, you know what you are supposed to give your workers and how the wages would be. Those that are working less, the amount I'm supposed to give them, and those that are doing more, the amount I'm supposed to give them. It also enables him to minimize costs and avoid wastage of resources in order to make more profits. It also helps the farmers to minimize its cost. When you know what your money is going out for, it helps you, and to avoid wastage of resources. When you are just putting in more input, maybe you are just buying more seed, you are not making use of the ones even on ground, and just buying them. It reduces your incomes too, and it will make you have profits. But when you reduce them, when you minimize the cost and you avoid wastage, it helps you make more profits. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. We see you in our next class. In our next class, talking about farm accounts or farm record, how farmer keeps record in their farm. Thank you all for watching. Bye.